Good evening and welcome to the April 27th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight on the agenda we have one public hearing and we have three continuations as well as open meeting agenda items. We'll start by going through and recapping the hearing process. All hearings are advertised and held in accordance with the open meeting law. All application files are open to the public for review prior to and after the hearing. All three of you in attendance tonight are asked to show respect and courtesy by silencing your cell phones and other electronic devices. You can listen to the applicants, witnesses, and the board. Please refrain from private conversation in the hearing room or outside of the hearing room. I also ask that you please refrain from making derogatory statements and exiting the hearing room quietly. All hearings are recorded and we're also televised tonight to ensure a true and accurate record. After the clerk reads the application into the record, the applicant or his or her appointed agent will briefly summarize the application and state why relief should be granted in accordance with sections of the Falmouth bylaw. The clerk will also read all referrals from the town departments. Clerk will also provide information on correspondences received. Zoning administrator will provide any updates and alert to the board to any issues to be considered. Board members will then ask questions of the applicant. We then turn it over to the public if they wish to be heard. I ask that they be recognized by the chair, step forward to the lectern, provide their name and address for the record, state if they're in support or opposition of the application. After that, board can ask questions of the speaker. And please note that public comment on variance applications will be limited to the legal standards set forth in the statute and the bylaw. At the close of the hearing, the board will discuss the application. Based on testimony in the board's discussion, the applicant may wish to modify the request or withdraw. And following the discussion, there are several options available to the board, including a continuation, a vote to close the hearing, take action, take the matter under advisement, or request a draft motion from the zoning administrator. And also introduce the board at this time. To my right is Ed Van Kuren. He is a full voting member of the board. My name is Terrence Hurry. I'm usually the clerk, but tonight I will be the acting chair. To my left is Paul Murphy. He is a full voting member of the board, and I'll also be appointing him as acting clerk. To his left is Robert Dugan. He is an associate member of the board. We have Sari Boudreau, who is the zoning administrator, and Jaude Geishecker, who is our recording secretary. And we'll get right into the public hearings. First, we have 19-17 Drewry, 63 Davis Straits, Falmouth, and I'll officially appoint Paul as the acting clerk for tonight.
Okay.
And Paul, you can take it away.
All right. Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that John L. Drewry of T-Ticket, Mass. Applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a modification of a special permit, number 57-04, pursuant to Sections 240-3C of the Code of Falmouth, to allow an apartment, two existing on the second floor and small office on the first floor, within the pre-existing non-conforming structure on subject property known as 63 Davis Straits, Falmouth, Mass.
Referrals, please.
Oh yeah, referrals. All right, we've got Conscom, no comment. Engineering, standard comments. The application was reviewed only for impacts to public right-of-ways and public utilities. Davis Straits is a state right-of-way in this area. Any alterations within the right-of-way will require permission from Mass DOT. Any connections or alterations to public utilities will require permission from the appropriate town department. The project must not direct any stormwater runoff to public property, abutters, and so on. Assessors, no comment. Marine Environmental Services, no comment. And we did get a letter from the fire department. Dear Board, this correspondence concerns application number 1917 for a modification of special permit 5704 to allow an apartment and small office on the first floor of 63 Davis Straits in Falmouth. Per the Massachusetts Building Code 780 CMR, whereas the building will have 3 residential units, it will be required to have an automatic fire sprinkler system installed and an automatic fire detection system, both which are required to be monitored either by the municipal fire alarm system or a central station monitoring company. We're also recommending a Knox box key entry system be installed for emergency after-hours access to the building. Lieutenant Mel Trott. Planning, no comment. That's it for referrals.
Mr. Drewley, if you'd like to state your name and address for the record.
Yes,
and you can-
John Drewley, 63 Davis Straits. Good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. I'm here to request a minor change or a change to pre-existing use of the structure 63 Davis Straits to have the first floor be a professional office space for my daughter Rebecca for her real estate office and an additional apartment on the first floor. There's 2 apartments on the second floor existing. Excuse me. And I think that the Davis Straits area is a perfect area for mixed use. I have it on both sides of my building. It's across the street. It's a good area for that zoning to be used. If you approve my application, there'll be a major expense to improve the building for safety, for fire, as you read in the referral from the fire department. The building is already connected to the sewer, and if you do approve my application, there'll also be a reduction in the required parking. And I think that's it. I'll answer any questions.
Okay, we'll see if we have any questions. Ed, you want to start off?
You're going to meet all the requirements of the fire department?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right. Paul, any questions?
No questions.
All right.
Just on the parking, the space is going to be delineated for the residential units at all, or versus the office use?
I wasn't going to do that, but I can. There's a lot of parking in the back.
It seems like there's a lot more parking available out there
There
than
is
you
a
have
lot of
actually on the
parking.
plan, so. That's
Supper.
it.
All right. And the second floor, it's going to be remaining as it is now?
Correct. There's 2 one-bedroom apartments on the second floor. But that part of the building would also have to receive the sprinkler system. And
All right.
it already has a full alarm system with a knock box and all of that, but what the building code requires, if there's 3 residential units connected, that I'd have to put in a fire suppression system.
All right. Suri?
John, you just answered Ed Van Kuren, excuse me, saying that you were going to meet the requirements of the fire code. Does that mean you're going to put in the fire suppression system?
I would have to do that in order to get the 3rd apartment approved by the building department.
Have you checked with the BBRS to see if you can get, because 2 apartments existed already on the first floor, to see if there's any way you can get an exemption since they're hooked up, or does that not meet the BBRS criteria to go ahead?
Currently, it wouldn't meet it.
It would-
The current requirement is if there's 3 connected units, you
Right.
have to have a fire suppression system. We have a new code, I think, that Massachusetts is adopting sometime this summer, the 9th edition. There might be some relief, but even with that, there'd have to be a substantial improvement to the structure to have the 3rd apartment be approved by the building department.
Okay. So you're going to do the fire suppression?
Would have to do it.
Okay. Thank you. I misunderstood.
Thank you, Suri. If the board doesn't have any questions, we'll turn it over to the members of the public who are in attendance tonight. Would anyone like to speak in favor of this application? Seeing none, would anyone like to speak against this application or have any questions for the applicant? All right. I guess we can entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make a motion to close.
I'll second it.
It's a motion by Ed to close the hearing, second by Paul. All those in favor?
Aye.
Bless you.
All right. Do we have to have a brief discussion on this? or-
I'm all set. I
I'm all
don't,
set. I'm all set.
All
yeah,
right.
Make a motion to approve.
All right.
second.
Motion to approve by Ed, second by Paul. Once again, all those in favor?
Nope,
Aye.
nope,
Aye.
nope, nope. Let's do findings and
Findings.
conditions
Oh.
first.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
That's right, we have to do that first.
Come on, guys, you're rushing.
We have so much to get through tonight. All right. So this was a modification of a previous special permit. Let's see, findings. Applicant will adhere to the Falmouth Fire and Rescue referral.
Testimony was,
Specifically, they'll be installing the fire suppression system, and that they already have the, I believe it was the knock box,
Yes.
Paul?
Yeah. Plenty of parking.
Adequate parking for the site.
we have
First
to make
floor.
it not detrimental under 240-3 because it's pre-existing non-conforming.
Yes, please.
It fits in with the neighborhood as the other structures along that side are pretty much the same.
Sure it does.
Some commercial, a lot of apartments.
Like the applicant said, it was a good area, good mixed use for the proposed use of the property. He's connected to sewer, so he doesn't need to worry about any of that. And the proposed use, the first floor, the 2 beds, and then the office space in the front. And the second floor will be remaining 2 one-bedroom apartments. Anything else for findings?
Can't think of anything.
That covers everything.
All right. We can move on to conditions.
Sprinkler system will be installed.
As required by the Falmouth Fire and
Right.
Rescue.
How about purple hands?
Absolutely.
And signage has to be approved appropriately for the office by appropriate town department.
Sounds good to me. Anything else for conditions?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
May I just ask one question? In your conditions, if the building code changes this year and there is a different way of meeting the fire department's requirements, would that be acceptable?
I can put, when fire suppression as required by the fire department in the event there's a change of code,
It'll actually be in the
it'll
building.
be approved by the building department.
Yes, I
So-
appreciate that, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so if that's it for conditions, we'll entertain a motion. Ed, since you
Yeah.
you had it the first time.
Yeah.
You just
Motion to
call the
approve.
vote. Just call for the vote.
Just call for
Yeah.
the vote. All right, so the motion's already been made. That was made by Ed, second by Paul. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Rebecca, you didn't get up and speak.
All right.
All right, next on the agenda, we have a continuation, application 128-16 Smith, 390 Edgewater Drive, East, in East Falmouth. Paul?
All right. For referrals, we've got DPW, standard comments, fire department, no comment, assessors, no comment, planning, no comment, and that's it.
All right,
And there's no correspondence.
no
And,
correspondence?
Yeah, no correspondence.
All right, seeing none.
Close one?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Michael Borselli from Falmouth Engineering. We prepared the site plans and application before you. In addition, Denise Benoli, a licensed professional architect who's in the audience, prepared the construction drawings and elevations for the existing and proposed house. The applicants have applied to modify a pre-existing non-conforming structure, and they've also applied to allow for a slight increase in lot coverage over 20%. We submitted all the plans and details to you. There's an existing conditions plan. The existing house is non-conforming because it is less than 10 feet from this side property line. It is only 5.3 feet from that property line. It meets all other setback requirements in the Falmouth zoning bylaw. The new house is still proposed to maintain the same setback to that property line. The reason, you may ask why we didn't shift it further to the south. The reason is because we are utilizing the same foundation. The new house will be constructed on the new foundation, on the existing foundation. As far as where it is on the lot, the foundation will be raised to a higher elevation with concrete blocks. The basement will be filled. Raising the foundation onto concrete blocks will allow for the new first floor of the house to be above the base flood elevation. This property is in a AE 12 flood zone. The foundation is the basement is being filled because basements aren't allowed in AE zones. And this house certainly is in effect a new house, so there's no 50% rule to even consider in this case because it's basically a new house. The Conservation Commission has reviewed this, and they issued an order of conditions, and part of their review, they requested that we attempt to use the same foundation, which is another reason why which is why that we're still maintaining the 5.3 instead of 10 feet. It is from a right-of-way, not a common boundary with another residential lot. There's a proposed new septic system to replace a substandard septic system. The applicant basically intends to move here and spend more time here and eventually retire here, and wants to have the house meet all of current building code standards, flood standards, and wastewater Title V standards. So everything that we're proposing is with that goal in mind. With regard to the lot coverage by structures, the existing lot coverage by structures is 19%. We're proposing to increase it to 20.5%, which is 61 square feet more lot coverage than would be allowed if you went to 20%. I put on the plan, I highlighted on this plan, it is on your plans, 2 lines. When we calculated our lot coverage and made a decision to apply for relief from the 20% lot coverage, all calculations for lot area were calculated to what's known as the record high water line, which is shown here. So the record high water line is the line that was on the record plan on the deed from 1946 when Seacoast Shores was first developed. So the area of the lot calculated to record high water was 11,300 square feet. Since 1946, this lot has actually grown. They call it accretion. You either have erosion, which means you lose land from nature's actions, or you can actually gain land. The land is built up and the land is grown into Eel Pond, so that The actual mean high water today in 2017 is this red line. So over that period of time, this lot has accreted or increased in lot area. If we were to do the lot coverage by the real lot area, the lot coverage, as you might expect, drops down to 11.4%. Because the land has grown, ironically, about 9,000 square feet over however many decades that is. It happens. Other lots lose lot area. In this case, this property gained lot area. But we still decided we should apply for the relief. We could have went through a lot of time, energy, and money and put a new plan on record at the Registry of Deeds and published the lot area to be the higher lot area, which is 20,500 square feet. But we thought, for the time being, at least if we could gain that relief for the added 61 square feet, we thought we would apply for the relief. The building basically is in the same general footprint with the exception of a small addition over here, which is 13 by 17. That side is 16 feet off the property line. All other aspects of setbacks have been met. So we're hopeful that we can get the relief for that minor increase in lot coverage and that you understand why we need the relief from the setback requirement. And we're both here to answer questions.
All right, questions from the board? Start with Bob.
No, I don't have anything right now.
No questions, all right. Paul?
No questions.
All right. Ed, any
No.
questions?
No, it looks like a good plan.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Well, I'll ask a few questions. How many bedrooms are currently there and how many are proposed?
4 in both cases. There's
4.
no increase.
Great. And the Title V is going to be for a 4-bedroom?
Yes.
All right, great. And what's the current height of the house?
The current height is 19 feet. It's a ranch with finished rooms on the second floor with, slanted ceilings. The number of rooms is the same, but they're not significant in size. So the concept is to make it more usable in the second story, so the height will get higher for that reason, and the height also will get higher because we're raising the building out of the flood zone by 3 feet. So in anticipation of your question, the new height will be under 35, which is the maximum height allowed. It's designed right now to be just under 35 feet tall from the average existing grade.
Okay. And I know I think the engineering had some concerns about the project. I think it was,
Probably about runoff.
Probably
into the
runoff.
road. If that's what it is, I'm happy to speak to it.
Okay, engineering would be,
toward the end there.
yeah?
Yep.
The application was reviewed only for impacts to public right-of-ways and public utilities. Edgewater Drive East is a public right-of-way in this area. Any connections or alterations to public utilities would require permission from the appropriate town department. The project must not direct any stormwater runoff to public property, abutters, or rights-of-ways. It appears that dry wells will be installed to keep roof runoff within the property. The plans show alterations to the driveway that will require filing a driveway application with engineering. Please note that the driveway cannot discharge stormwater onto the roadway from the property line. Application and requirements are available for download under our department on the town website.
Thank you for that. We anticipated that. The driveway, there will be dry wells for the roof runoff. The driveway is going to be designed so that there's a low point here, and the pavement at the garage doors will pitch slightly to that low point. The pavement at the frontage will pitch slightly to that low point, and the water will just sheet flow onto the grass in the front yard. It's a very small area, but we understand that we can't pitch onto the right-of-way.
All right. Sri, do you have any questions?
No, huh?
All right. Members of the public, anyone in favor of the application can step forward. Seeing none, anyone has opposition to the project? Seeing none. All right. Guess we can close the hearing. if
Make a
the
motion to close.
Board's satisfied.
Second?
Ed has the motion to close, second by Paul. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. I guess we can have a brief conversation about it.
Yeah, looks great. I think that the accretion is actually amazing, and...
Don't see that too often
No,
in this town,
no.
which is interesting.
No, so that's really interesting, and, I mean, the lot coverage increase is totally insignificant.
Well said, Paul. All right. And I assume we're going towards a favorable decision here. We can start with findings if we'd like.
Or opposed? A motion.
Yeah, motion.
Make a motion to close the public...
Oh, we already closed.
Grant.
So we're-
Oh, to make a motion to grant the application as submitted.
Second.
Now findings.
Now findings. Nonconformity is to the north, that setback, the side setback, 5.3 feet, and they'll be remaining at 5.3 feet because of conservation. I would like them to see you use the existing foundation, and they'll be doing so. We'll be utilizing the same foundation. I should also note that the Concom order of conditions is in the file. The new septic, they'll be replacing the existing septic. They're at 4 beds, remaining at 4 beds. And I should also make note of the increase in elevation due to the flood zone. Basement's going to be filled, and it's also not allowed in the AE 12 zone. 240-216. Lot coverage increase is not much. They were at 19, increasing to 20.5. I think it's interesting to note the accretion there. With the record high water of the previous deed, and the lot's actually grown. So I think that's interesting. And also the engineering referral, I think it's been properly addressed by the applicant.
Plan shows dry wells. Right?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it does.
and I'll explain the pitch
Mhm.
as best I can.
The current structure's at 19 feet, and the proposed will be under 35.
-3, not more detrimental, in keeping with the neighborhood, as a lot of homes in the neighborhood are
It certainly is.
raising and reconstructing.
Any other findings?
I can't think of any.
The shed's going to be removed, but it's on the plan.
Right. We'll have to put that in the conditions,
The
because it wasn't
conditions, yeah.
mentioned at the hearing and it's closed.
All
Okay,
right.
conditions?
Let's move on to conditions. I guess we can say that the shed's going to be removed per plans.
Bill would like the drawings.
Bill, would like the drawings?
I'm sorry?
Just making note that the shed's going to be reviewed,
Right.
removed.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear Ed's.
Oh, build it like the drawings.
Okay. Per plans. 4 beds only.
4 beds, remaining at 4 beds. All right. Anything else for conditions? Sari, can you think of anything else for conditions?
The only other thing, do you want to do an as-built? They are using the same foundation.
I'd like to see one. How's everyone feel on that?
Yeah, because
Yep.
there's an addition on one side, so.
Sure.
All right, so condition the as-built.
Showing setback and lot
The
coverage.
height of
Okay.
the building. And the height of the
And the
building.
height, since they're up against it.
You want to, I'm sorry, what do you call that? A certification? What is it?
No, just put it on the as-built.
Height certification because of the flood zone? For 30, less than 35.
Under 35, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that motion was made by Paul, it was seconded by Ed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, as it should.
Good.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks for coming out, Denise.
It's nice though, man. The end of, it's pretty nice. It's amazing, isn't it?
10,000 square.
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot about the other two.
No, it's all right. Next on the agenda, we have the joint continuations, I guess I can call them. I have that. It's applications 100-16, Schoberg, Broken Bow Lane T-Ticket, and application 101-16, Estate of J. Mayette, Broken Bow Lane T-Ticket. And we have a correspondence from Attorney Kirk, addressed April 25th, 2017, and he has asked us to read this correspondence into the record. It states, "Dear ladies and gentlemen, I have asked Sari if she would ask tonight's chair to read this letter into the record. The above referenced appeals, which were originally filed on September 26th, were scheduled to be heard on Thursday, April 27th, 2017. These cases constitute appeals from a decision of the Falmouth Building Commissioner and a decision favorable to the appellants requiring 4 votes of 5 sitting members. The applicant would like to have a full 5-member panel hear these appeals. It is my understanding that one of the regular board members has decided not to sit on any hearing involving this case. On a number of prior occasions, other circumstances have left us with less than 5 members able to sit, as a result of which the hearings have been continued. I was informed today that once again there will not be a 5-member panel available to hear these appeals on April 27, 2017, and so I respectfully request that these cases be continued to May 25, 2017. I fully understand that the members of the board volunteer their valuable time to serve the community on this important quasi-judicial board, and that circumstances sometimes prevent all members from being present on any particular evening. I also hope that we will have 5 members available to sit on these appeals on May 25th, 2017. Thank you for your thoughtful attention to this request." And there's also, I should state this into the record now, there's the extension, I think it was 45 days, Suri?
I think he's given us till what, May 27th?
May 29th now. that I'm
29th, so
reading
I'll
it.
have to get another one because this is an appeal, which means that the decision has to be filed within that time frame as
Right.
well. So I'll have to get another waiver.
All right, so we'll be getting another waiver from the applicant. The applicant has requested that this hearing be continued to May 29th, 2017.
May 25th.
I'm sorry, May 25th, 2017. Would anyone like to motion to allow it to be continued to May 25th, 2017, 6:30 here at Town Hall?
I'll make a motion that it be continued to.
I'll
Right.
second that.
It's motion by Ed, second by Paul. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
All right, and next on the agenda, we have open meeting. And first, we have the minutes of April 13th, 2017. And has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yeah, I have.
All right. Anyone like to make the motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Ed,
Second.
and that's second by Paul. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Open meeting number 2, we have a board administrative approval, Barnstable County Fairgrounds added an event, an auto swap meet.
Right, this automotive swap meet will take place September 30th, 2017. Areas A, C, D, and Lot E, Lot 1, and Lot 4. There will be alcohol, so they have to go to the Board of Selectmen whenever there's alcohol. I ask for the board to administratively approve it. It is a public event from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's been information on the table in the conference room regarding this event. And it is the first time it has been done. Basically, people come and swap specialty auto parts. First year. So apparently these events are above Cape, so he's trying to create a Cape Cod event for local Cape people.
All right. How's everyone feel about that?
I think it's fine.
Give it a shot.
Pretty,
All right.
might be
I
kind
don't
of
see any
neat.
problem.
Okay.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the administrative approval.
Second.
All right, that's a motion by Paul, second by Ed. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. next-
Barnstable County Fairgrounds, thanks you.
We have board review and discuss procedural rules and policies. I think we can table that.
You
I think so too.
Okay. Any correspondences or board updates?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Seeing none, do we have any future agenda items to discuss?
I really want to discuss the schedule. I want the board to look at it. And please let me know in advance, even you members that aren't here. This is the third time that we've had to continue based on the board's.
Been going on since September with this, right?
Yeah, the first two
Right.
times was out of our control, but the
Right.
last 3 times. So I really would like the board members to
I'll be there.
please show up May 25th, at least 5. And that one's tough because Kimberly Beelen has recused herself. We are getting busy, so this schedule, I've had to put in extra dates, extra hearing dates. So, looks like it's going to be a busy year, so please let me know of any time away. June's going to be tough because one of the members is gone for 2 weeks, I believe. Yes. So, anybody else has dates, please let me know, or parties.
Yeah.
You're never going to live that one down.
I love that.
All right, so if we're all set with the future agenda items, and it does look like that we're pretty stacked on the agendas right through June.
Yep, and next week, hopefully I'll have the one decision that was going to be drafted by the attorneys. I'll contact them tomorrow. I was told I should have had it by now, but I haven't received it yet, so hopefully you guys will get that in advance and be able to make a decision next week. So next week, we actually have 6 hearings.
All right. I'd like to thank all the members of the public who attended tonight, all those out there in TV land, and thank you, and good night.
Yeah, hit it.